Hello and welcome to day 175 of our Chronological Bible in a Year reading plan. Today we are in 2 Chronicles chapter 10, 11, and 12. 2 Chronicles chapter 10 to start us off. Sorry, excuse me, I gotta get my gum out of my way so I can speak. Chapter 10. I'm gonna put this over here if you don't mind.
That's fine.
Okay. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Yisrael had gone to Shechem to appoint him to reign. And it came to be, when Jeroboam, son of Nebat, heard it, he was in Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, where he had fled from the presence of Shlomo the sovereign, that Jeroboam returned from Mitzrayim. So they sent for him and called him. And Jeroboam and all Yisrael came and spoke to Rehoboam, saying, Your father made our yoke hard, and now lighten the hard service of your father and his heavy yoke which he put on us, then we shall serve you. And he said to them, Come back to me after 3 days. And the people went. Then sovereign Rehoboam consulted the elders who stood before his father Shlomo while he still lived, saying, What do you advise me to answer these people? And they spoke to him, saying, If you are good to these people, and shall please them, and speak good words to them, they shall be your servants all the days. But he ignored the advice the elders gave him, and consulted the young men who had grown up with him, who stood before him. And he said to them, What advice do you give? How should we answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, Lighten the yoke which your father put on us? And the young men who had grown up with him spoke to him, saying, Say this to the people who have spoken to you, saying, Your father made our yoke heavy, but you make it lighter on us. Say this to them, My little finger is thicker than my father's waist. And now my father put a heavy yoke on you, but I add to your yoke. My father chastised you with whips, but I with scourges. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam on the 3rd day, as the sovereign commanded, saying, Come back to me the 3rd day. And the sovereign answered them harshly. Thus sovereign Rehoboam ignored the advice of the elders, and spoke to them according to the advice of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, but I add to it. My father chastised you with whips, but I with scourges. So the sovereign did not listen to the people, for the turn of events was from Elohim, in order for Yahuwah to establish his word, which he had spoken by the hand of Ahiyahu the Shilonite to Jeroboam son of Nebat. And when all Yisrael saw the sovereign did not listen to them, the people answered the sovereign, saying, What portion have we in David? And we have no inheritance in the son of Yishai. Every man to your mighty ones, O Yisrael. Now see to your own house, O David. So all Yisrael went to their tents. But as for the children of Yisrael who dwelt in the cities of Yehudah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then sovereign Rehoboam sent Hadoram, who was over the compulsory labor, and the children of Yisrael stoned him with stones, and he died. And sovereign Rehoboam hastily mounted his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. Thus Yisrael revolted against the house of David to this day. Chapter 11. And when Rehoboam came to Jerusalem, he assembled from the house of Yehudah and Benjamin 180,000 men of battle to fight against Yisrael, to bring back the reign to Rehoboam. But the word of Yahuwah came to Shemayahu, the man of Elohim, saying, Speak to Rehoboam, son of Shlomo, sovereign of Yehudah, and to all Yisrael in Yehudah and Benjamin, saying, Thus said Yahuwah, Do not go up or fight against your brothers. Let every man return to his house, for this matter is from me. So they obeyed the words of Yahuwah and turned back from going against Jeroboam. And Rehoboam dwelt in Jerusalem and built cities for a defense in Yehudah. And he built Bethlehem, and Etam, and Tekoa, and Bethsur, and Soko, and Adullam, and Gath, and Mareshah, and Ziph, and Adaraim, and Lachish, and Azekah, and Zorah, and Ayalon, and Hebron, which are in Yehudah and Benjamin, cities of defense. And he strengthened the strongholds, and put commanders in them, and stores of food, and oil, and wine, and shields, and spears in every city, and made them very strong. Thus Yehudah and Benjamin were his. And from all their borders the Kohanim, which again means priests, and the Levites, who were in all Yisrael, took their stand with him. For the Levites left their open lands and their possessions, and came to Yehudah and Jerusalem. For Jeroboam and his sons had rejected them from serving as Kohanim unto Yahuwah. as he appointed for himself priests for the high places and for demons, and the calf idols which he had made. And after the Levites left, those from all the tribes of Israel, such as applied their heart to seek Yahuwah Elohim of Israel, came to Jerusalem to offer to Yahuwah Elohim of their fathers. And they strengthened the reign of Yehuda, and made Rehoboam son of Shelomoth strong for 3 years, for they walked in the way of David and Shelomoth for 3 years. And Rehoboam took for himself as wife Mahalath, the daughter of Yeramoth, son of David, and of Abihail, the daughter of Eliab, son of Yishai. And she bore him sons, Yeush, and Shemariah, and Zaham. And after her he took Maacah, the granddaughter of Absalom, and she bore him Abiah, and Attai, and Ziza, and Shelomith. And Rehoboam loved Maacah, the granddaughter of Absalom, more than all his wives and concubines, for he had taken 18 wives and 60 concubines, and brought forth 28 sons and 60 daughters. And Rehoboam appointed Abiah, son of Maacah, as chief, to be leader among his brothers, in order to make him reign. And he had understanding, and dispersed some of his sons throughout all the lands of Yehuda and Benjamin, to all the cities of defense, and gave them ample provision. And he sought many wives. And then we have chapter 12 as well. It came to be, when Rehoboam had established the reign and had strengthened himself, that he forsook the Torah of Yahuwah, and all Yisrael with him. And it came to be in the 5th year of sovereign Rehoboam, that Shishak, sovereign of Mitzrayim, came up against Jerusalem, because they had trespassed against Yahuwah, with 1,200 chariots and 60,000 horsemen, and innumerable people who came with him out of Mitzrayim, the Lubim, the Sukkites, and the Cushites. And he took the cities of defense of Yehuda, and came to Jerusalem. And Shemaiah the Nabi, which is the prophet, came to Rehoboam and the rulers of Yehuda, who had been gathered in Jerusalem because of Shishak, and said to them, Thus said Yahuwah, You have forsaken me, and therefore I also have left you in the hand of Shishak. Then the rulers of Yisrael and the sovereign humbled themselves, and they said, Yahuwah is righteous. And when Yahuwah saw that they humbled themselves, the word of Yahuwah came to Shemaiah, saying, They have humbled themselves. I do not destroy them, but I shall give to them some deliverance, and not pour out my wrath on Jerusalem by the hand of Shishak. But they are to become his servants, so that they know my service, and the service of the reigns of the lands. And Shishak, sovereign of Mitzrayim, came up against Jerusalem, and took away the treasures of the house of Yahuwah, and the treasures of all the sovereign's house. He took all. He also took the gold shields which Shelomoth had made. And sovereign Rehoboam made bronze shields to replace them, and committed them into the hands of the chiefs of the guard, who guarded the entrance of the sovereign's house. And it came to be, whenever the sovereign went into the house of Yahuwah, the guard would go and bring them out, and they would take them back into the guard room. And when he humbled himself, the wrath of Yahuwah turned from him, so as not to destroy him completely. And matters also went well in Yehuda. So sovereign Rehoboam strengthened himself in Jerusalem, and reigned. For Rehoboam was 41 years old when he became sovereign, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which Yahuwah had chosen out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there. And his mother's name was Naamah the Ammonitess. And he did evil, because he did not prepare his heart to seek Yahuwah. And the acts of Rehoboam, the first and the last, are they not written in the book of Shemaiah the Nabi, and of Iddo the seer, concerning genealogies? And there was fighting between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all the days. So Rehoboam slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David, and Abiah his son reigned in his place. And that concludes our reading for today. Thank you for joining, as always, and I hope you've been reading along. And peace and blessings and love to you. See you in the next one.